Hello and welcome to Formula Food for the Bahrain Grand Prix and also the Sakhir Grand Prix, because I'm being lazy and technically it's in the same location, so I'm only cooking once, and equally tight for time, tight for all sorts of things, loads of other projects. There'll be other food videos coming up, but anyway, yes, we're cooking for the Bahrain and the Sakhir Grand Prix, and we're cooking curry. Actually, we're cooking biryani, which sort of works on the name Biryani Bahrain. That's very close, but also the fact that the biryani is sort of very much native to Bahrain. It sort of comes from roughly that area, and I like a biryani, so there you are. That's all the reasonings. It's fairly local to Bahrain and I like it. Yeah, strong reasoning. Anyway, in our earthenware pan, which you can actually just about see on the edge of frame here, we have some chicken sort of fat and some chicken stock melting down with a bit of butter in the pan. We've got a load of other chicken stock over here as well in a jug. This is left over from a roast dinner last week, and we're going to be using that to start off our vegetables. That's melting down very nicely indeed, just starting to steam and smoke at the edges. Beautiful. And yeah, also we've got our ingredients table over on this side with all of our pre-prepped ingredients, no time lapses, no long shots of me cutting vegetables. We're jumping straight into it. And yeah, ingredients we're going to be using, we're making a chicken biryani. We've pre-soaked our rice, you can probably see that just over here. We'll mention that at the very start of the recipe, at the very start of the cooking process. We've got some rice in here, some proper basmati rice. It smells absolutely fantastic. It has a beautiful smell, basmati rice. That's what we're using. We've pre-soaked ours according to the instructions. Obviously, full recipe in the description at the bottom. But yeah, pre-soaked the rice. We've pre-chopped all of our vegetables. We've got 4 large chicken breasts, which we've diced up. Got them in a bowl here as well. I should bring those nice and close to the camera because everything's so far away in this kitchen. But anyway, we've got chicken breasts ready. And the thing that makes a biryani is in reality the rice. It's a large part rice curry, but also we're making quite a fancy biryani. We're using a plethora. I'm going to try and grab as much of it as possible. A plethora of herbs, spices and seasoning to make this work. We have mustard seeds, garam masala, chilies, bay leaves, coriander leaves, turmeric, cardamom pods, a bit of mace and saffron. And it's that saffron that makes this a very fancy dish indeed. Saffron is not a cheap herb and spice. We used it last for the risotto for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza when we made the risotto alla milanese. And I've had some saffron pistils soaking away in this jug here with a bit more chicken stock in it. You can possibly see the little dark bits floating around at the bottom. Those are our saffron pistils, and that's what's given this a beautiful bright yellow colour already. And hopefully that's going to move into the rice, going to give us a very brightly coloured dish. Indeed, that's what we want to see. But anyway, our butter's finally melted. I can finally stop yammering away absolute nonsense, and we can start cooking. And the first thing we need to do is we need to put in our onions. The original recipe I found that I'm working off of just uses 1 large brown onion. I'm a health nut. I'm not actually. But I like to get my vegetables in, so I'm using 1 large sort of brown white onion. But I'm also going to add into the mix 1 chopped red onion, 1 finely sliced yellow pepper, and about a cupful of finely sliced mushrooms. That's going to give us a lovely sort of vegetable mix in there. It's going to help bulk out the dish, but equally it's going to make what's going to be quite a luxuriant dish quite healthy as well, hopefully. So our onions have already started to cook away, and we need to start adding in a bit of spice, a bit of flavour. That's what this curry is all about. So we have some bay leaves here in this hand. Move those right up to the camera. Bay leaves, lovely. And in the other hand we have cardamom pods. And they're going to go into the pan. We just want 1 bay leaf. Get a nice big one out. That's a small one, and that's a relatively small one. That one. Some bay leaves, and importantly about 3 cardamom pods, and these are just going to start imbuing the vegetables with a nice bit of flavour. We've got a little bit of that chickeny flavour already in there from the chicken stock that we started them off in, but also 2. There we are. In they go. I've tossed in 2 extra because I like a lot of flavour in my curries, and might as well make it special, make it taste nice. So we'll stir those in, and we'll pop the lid on and just leave those to simmer away for a minute. Just start letting let the flavours get to know each other. It sounds like a very Bob Ross sort of thing to say. If Bob Ross did cooking, would this be that? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to put the lid on, leave these to simmer away on nice and low for a minute, and let the flavours get to know each other. I'm going to settle with that phrase. I like it. Stay cool. Okay, so as you can potentially see, where I'm sort of slouching, sort of squatting almost to fit into the frame, we've got our vegetables in pan there. They're sizzling away very nicely indeed. We'll just give them a stir. We've got our bay leaves in there and a bunch of cardamom pods, and it smells fantastic so far. We've got a beautiful colour. The onions are just starting to go nice and soft. So what we need to do is we're going to turn up the wick and we're going to add the chicken. So this is just 4 sort of diced chicken breast. We're just going to add those in. Make sure we put that away somewhere. And one key thing we're going to add at the moment, especially with the chicken, is turmeric. Hopefully the camera will pull focus on that. Come on, there we go. Turmeric. So this is going to add a rather sort of bright yellow colour. It's going to add a nice little woody flavour. So we want just about, hopefully, if there's any in here, 1 teaspoon. So we've got a teaspoon of turmeric in there. And as we can see already, that turmeric is starting to add a brilliant yellow colour to our dish. And obviously where bits of the chicken are starting to go white, where they're touching the sides of the hot pan, cooking through. Some bits are stained a beautiful yellow colour. So we'll just keep the heat up. Just start to cook the chicken off. Beautiful. So while our chicken sizzles away here in the pan, we're going to start adding some actual curry flavour to it. Curry paste, curry powder, what we're just using here is just regular supermarket mild curry powder. That's what we had in the cupboards. So we're just going to add about 2 tablespoons of that and stir that in. And now that smells, ooh, beautiful. We'll bring the camera over so you can see the colour. Hang on a second. So as you can see, we're starting to get a nice amount of colour on there. There's some juices running around the bottom of the pan that have come out from the vegetables, from the chicken. Sort of light brownish colour. Everything is looking beautiful indeed, and it smells just fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this on low for a little longer. We're going to put the lid on it and we're going to leave it to simmer, and then we're going to add in the rice. The rice is effectively what makes biryani biryani. I think it's because it could be from the Persian or the Arabic that the biryani derives its name. It means effectively the closest translation is rice, effectively in English, which is why biryani has rice in it. Capiche? Okay, so our chicken has been simmering away in the pot quite nicely for a few minutes. Started to generate a lovely amount of juice. coming out of the chicken, out of the vegetables. It smells amazing. I'm going to keep repeating myself, no doubt, in saying that, but I love the way that some dishes smell. You can get a lot of character from a dish, or know a lot about a dish from the way it smells. And this is absolutely beautiful. Oh, fantastic indeed. And we're about to introduce a load more flavours. I mean, already we've introduced off camera one finely chopped clove of garlic and one finely chopped chili pepper, just to bring a bit of a garlicky twist to it, and also that thump from the pepper. But the next thing we need to do is we need to introduce our rice. The bit that makes the biryani. This rice, as I said, has been pre-soaked. We've rinsed it till the water's been running clear, and we're just going to dump it in. In she goes. We've got 300 grams of rice here, I think. I can't remember because I weighed it out far earlier this afternoon, but it doesn't matter because the recipe, as I always say, is in the description below. All of this obviously goes up on Food Tribe. That's where I write all my recipes, and you can find equally all the other recipes for all the other formula food dishes over on Food Tribe as well. So, rice has gone in. We'll give that a nice little stir in, just to start to mix it in nicely. And not too dissimilar to when we were doing the paella or the risotto, what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be introducing some stock and some water for the rice to cook in. And I previously introduced you to our chicken stock with saffron pistils in it. So we're going to add, we've got half a litre of that. Wunderbar. And we have the homemade chicken stock from the roast chicken the other day, and we're going to mix that in as well. It's going to hopefully give us a lovely rich chicken flavour. And equally, that's going to really add some flavour to the rice, which is pretty much sunk to the bottom of our pot now. There we go. I will say this though, the colour of the dish is now looking absolutely fantastic. Very sort of deep golden yellow colour. Let me grab the camera, we'll go handheld. Come here, look at this. Look at that. Ooh, yes, that's one beautiful looking curry, I gotta say it. So, we're not quite done for this stage just yet, however. While we've got a beautiful looking curry, we've got our rice in there, we have one more thing to add. Like I said previously, biryani, we're making this quite a rich dish, we're making this rather more fancy one, and that means doing something my sister would absolutely hate. We're adding raisins. We've got 70 grams of raisins here, and we're just going to pop those in as well. They're going to bring a bit of sweetness to the dish, and just a slightly different sort of taste, really. Mix it up a little, live a little, and I think that's about all we're going to do for this stage. We're simply just going to stir the raisins in. Alrighty, well, our rice, our biryani, it's all been simmering away at a hard boil for about 10 minutes. We've had the heavy lid on the pot just to try and trap everything in there. And what it does mean is the dish has thickened up beautifully. The rice has taken on a lot of the water. Everything's gone this bright yellow colour. It's beautiful. And it's starting to thicken up as a dish very wonderfully indeed. We've brought it down to a low, as low as the hob will go for the moment. And the idea is we're just going to leave the dish simmering away at this temperature for quite some time. What we want to do at this moment though, while we've got the lid off, is we'll add a little more spice to the dish. At the moment it tastes absolutely fantastic, but I want to give it a bit more of a peppery kick. And that's going to come from just some crushed dried chilies. So we're just going to put in about 1 teaspoonful of those. We're going to add in some mustard seeds. I love putting mustard seeds into curry. It just goes so brilliantly. Just about a teaspoon of those go in. And then the last thing on the list, some mace. I brought this originally for the pork pie video way back at the beginning of this series. And I did use it when cooking for the Turkish Grand Prix, which I cooked for earlier this week. Which might sound wrong, but you have to remember that it is the 1st of October today. And I'm cooking these in advance. But anyway, yeah, we brought the mace for the pork pie. We have used it a bit in the Turkish Grand Prix, although that failed, so I might redo that. And we're just going to put about a teaspoon into today's dish, our biryani. There we go, just pop it back into its box. And away it goes, until I decide to make another pork pie or something. And we'll just stir in those spices. Again, we're going for a little by little sort of additions thing here, because I'm going to keep tasting it as we go along, seeing what needs to be added and how it goes. But you can already smell there's a very sort of, can you say Arabic? Yeah, I think you can. There's a very sort of Arabic, Middle Eastern sort of spice combination coming through from this dish. It smells beautiful. And you get this little sweet twist from the raisins come through in its scent as well. Absolutely fantastic. And the colour is something to behold, it really is. That just looks amazing. Look at that. So anyway, we'll just mix that in nicely. Oh, that mace is so beautifully aromatic. Let's see how this tastes. Ooh, there's wonderful spice there. It tastes a bit like a pot noodle with the very soft rice in it. That's beautiful. That's a very nice biryani, that is. That is fantastic. So there we go. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna pop our spoon down to get the glove so we can pick up the heavy lid. That's also quite hot. Leave the lid on our pan. We're going to leave our biryani to just simmer away on as low as the hob will go. And then that'll be ready to dish out in reality. We can always season it if you want with a little bit of coriander. I might just put a twist of coriander leaf in towards the end just to give it a very bright flavour. Or just to give it a sort of... Coriander's got that very sort of zingy flavour, so we're going to try and add that in just towards the end. But otherwise, that's pretty much ready to serve up. Cheers.